finally got around to finishing Discovery and the final season, and it was okay. I don't think it's the best season by far for this show. I actually kind of think it's one of the weakest. I don't know if that's just because, for me, I found the other storylines much more compelling. They were more interesting for me. Maybe even they had more action than this season. Except I will give them credit for the last two episodes were really good when it came to the action stuff. But I do think they did a good job continuing the character arcs, taking a look back at what made characters the way they were, introducing one or two new characters. Well, I guess three when you have the villains. And they mattered. It wasn't just like, oh, here they are. You understood why they were there, and they were interesting. How quickly some of the main cast left, with it being the final season, was interesting. I thought, in the fact that I thought everyone was going to be there the whole season, and they are in some capacity, but they're not there as much. And the whole idea of, looking for this area where everything was created, which ties back to, I guess, something in Next Generation, which I must not have gotten to that part yet, or I totally don't remember, because that's the thing. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, so I don't know everything about Star Trek. But then also, just recently I was like, well, wait, didn't they do this story kind of with Star Trek the Motion Picture? Didn't they already touch on this? But I guess you can do multiple ideas, just like there's multiple religions in the world. Maybe there's multiple ways things happened. But the performances were good. I thought visually it looked great. None of that slipped up. I really liked the villains. I thought their story was really compelling. I cared more about them at times, or finding out more about them, than some of the other characters. And I liked their involvement in the story more than the main story itself. I wish maybe that they had changed focus and they had been the main villains, along with another alien race that's involved. But it definitely, this one I feel like was a little bit more philosophical at times, which I know Star Trek has always been that. But this just seemed to harp on that a little bit more. I wish it had ended a little bit differently. It's like, okay, you can cut like 20 minutes out here. We know, or we suspect, how things are going to happen. I just felt like that went on, and they could have done that a little bit differently. But overall, this wasn't a terrible season, and it was a pretty good show overall.